hello everyone. My name is Kim and I work for the Kansas Pork Association, and we are an organization made up of pig farmers from around the state. And we are happy to have you here today to visit a pig farm with us. So I'd like to introduce all of the classrooms and also Dan Toland, which most of you teachers probably recognize. He works with Shiftology and he helps us on the technology end and keeping us all up and connected and going. So whenever I introduce your school, we'll flash you up on the screen, and if all the students could wave at all the other classrooms and at the farmer. We have Mrs. Eisenbrandt's second grade class from Meadowview Elementary in Parsons, Kansas. Over here, Lynn. Over here, guys. Okay. We have Miss Stevens' third grade class from Southwest Elementary in Clinton, Oklahoma. Wow. We have Mrs. Wolf's third grade class from Sunflower Elementary in Lenexa, Kansas. Mrs. Helms' 5th through 12th grade students from Madison High School in Madison, Kansas. Miss Gaffney's 9th through 12th grade students from Pine Grove Area School District in Pine Grove, Pennsylvania. Wow. Mr. Hamner's 9th through 12th grade students at Pinedale High School in Pinedale, Wyoming.
Wyoming? Wow.
And it does look like we have Mrs. Small's kindergarten class from Effingham, Kansas. I think they're still getting set up, but they're also on the line with us. And we have about 300 students on the line today. Christy and Michael Springer are our farmers from Sycamore, Kansas. Everybody wave hello to them. And before we go back to the farm to talk to them, we're going to show you a short video that we took out at their place to give you an idea what it's like.
Got it. So we'll then shut them.
Okay, you remove that full screen up in the upper right hand corner. Right here. I think it's the light.
Hey guys, I'm Harper. Have you ever been to a farm before? I've seen barns from the road, but that's about it. That's why I've decided to visit one to get the real scoop. Cooper and Mason invited me to their family pig farm in Sycamore, Kansas. They're going to give me a tour of the farm, teach me about how they raise pigs, and even let me hold a piglet. I can't wait. Did you know that there are over 1,000 pig farms in Kansas? Farmers take good care of their pigs so that we can have pork in our grocery stores. Pork is a meat that comes from pigs. Let's go see how farmers raise their pigs. Come on!
We're here at Springer Family Farm in Sycamore, Kansas with Cooper and Mason. Their family raises corn, soybeans, and lots of pigs. Hey guys, what's it like to take care of pigs?
I love working with pigs because they are very easy to work with.
We give pigs the best possible care that they need so we can feed our community and yours.
Where do your pigs live?
Our pigs live in barns.
Piglets and sows live in farrowing houses. The piglets are the baby pigs and the sows are their mothers. The farrowing house is a barn where moms have their babies. It's just like a delivery room at a hospital.
Can we go see some piglets?
Sure, let's go.
Pigs give birth to babies in groups. That's called a litter. Usually there's 12 piglets in a litter. They each weigh 2 to 3 pounds when they're born. Pigs start walking as soon as they're born. They grow really fast, which means they nurse at least once every hour. We make sure moms get really good food and water so that they can have enough milk for their babies. Sow's milk provides the babies with all the nutrients they need until they're about 3 weeks old.
So what happens next?
The piglets get weaned.
What does weaned mean?
Wean means that they'll stop drinking milk from their mama and start eating food. The sows go back to their own barns where they can wait until they have another litter of pigs. Then the baby piglets go on to the ham tram to the nursery. Would you like to go see some piglets now?
Absolutely, let's go.
Cooper told me when pigs move into the nursery that they're about 3 weeks old and weigh 15 to 20 pounds. That's like lifting 2 gallons of milk. They keep the barn nice and warm so that they're comfortable. They use computer technology to control the temperature, just like you use in your house.
So now that they don't drink milk, what do you feed the pigs?
Let's go take a look. So we are at the feed mill. The feed mill is a place where other crops like wheat and corn and soybeans will be harvested on the pig feed. This whole entire field of corn will be harvested with a combine, put into one of the big semi-trailers, and be hauled to another one of these grinding places, or even this one. After it's grinded up, it will go into the feed truck, will be hauled to this farm over here and other surrounding farms.
I was shocked to find out pigs like vegetables, including corn. Now, they don't eat corn on the cob like you and me. They eat a different kind of corn called field corn. Field corn kernels are smashed into small pieces that are easy to eat and digest. Basically, a farmer will plant a corn seed that will grow into an ear of corn. These are harvested in the fall. When corn is harvested, a combine harvests the corn. As the corn cob goes in, single corn kernels come out. Those kernels are smashed up through rollers and added to the pig feed along with other ingredients like soybean meal and other nutrients. Did you know farmers plant their crops in acres? 1 acre is the same size as a football field. In Kansas, corn is one of the top produced crops. Farmers plant more than 5 million acres of corn. That's a lot of football fields. Our harvest is so big that it could fill 10,000 swimming pools. Here's a fun fact. Corn can also be used to make ethanol fuel for our cars. When corn is used to make ethanol fuel, some of it is left over. We call those distiller grains. Distiller grains actually make a great treat for pigs and can still be used in their food. All in all, 39% of corn planted in the United States is made into fuel or made into feed for our animals like pigs. Nutritionists agree pigs like corn because it provides them protein and energy to be happy and healthy. Pig food is stored in bins to keep it fresh. It travels through a long tube right into the pig's feeder to keep it nice and full at all times. They also have a drinking fountain for clean, fresh water. After eating all those vegetables, they grow up fast. At 8 weeks old, pigs weigh about 40 to 60 pounds. That's the same weight as 4 bowling balls. As they get bigger, they move to a finishing barn where they have more room to move around. Pigs live in the finishing barn until it's time to go to market. They'll be 6 months old and weigh 280 pounds when they go to market.
So guys, how long has your family been raising pigs?
We've been raising pigs for 70 years. My great-granddad used to raise them outside back in the old days. Now with all this awesome technology, our pigs live in high-tech barns with fans and misters to stay cool in the summer and heaters to stay warm in the winter.
Before I toured your farm, I thought pigs just laid around in the mud all day.
They do spend a lot of time sitting and relaxing, but they also eat and drink and play in their pens too. I love watching pigs grow up and play in their pens.
Thanks so much for giving us a tour of the farm. I really enjoyed getting to meet your family, learning about pigs, sows, and the life of a pig.
Sure, no problem.
Anytime. Have a pork-tastic day.
All right, well, let's go to the farm and meet Michael and Christy.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Southeast Kansas. It's great to have everybody in here today. Right now, we're sitting in one of our nurseries, and this nursery holds 300 piggies. And these piggies just came over this morning on the ham tram. Did you guys see that on the video? We have 3 old school buses on our farm, and we take all the seats out of them, and we can hold around 350 piglets on the ham tram. And the fun part is how they get off the ham tram is we have an old slipper slide, and they slide off the back of the bus, and we bring them into the barn, into these pens. So these piglets are about 21 days old. They were just weaned from their mamas today, and they weigh about 13 to 15 pounds. So anyway, we just want to welcome you guys to the farm today.
Well, thank you for having us. Can you guys tell us a little bit about the history of your farm?
Well, sure. Good morning. I'm Michael. My grandfather started farming in the late 1940s, and our farm has grown. He used to raise his pigs outside, and we had, today we have about 45,000 pigs on about 10 different farms in this area here in Montgomery and Wilson County. So some other things that go on at our farm is we also raise, kind of like they showed in the video, we raise corn and soybeans. We raise about half the feed that we need for our pigs, and then our neighbors help us out by raising the rest of the corn that we need to feed our pigs. So Christy and I have the pleasure of being the 3rd generation to take care of our farm, and as you met in the video, we hope that our boys Mason and Cooper are willing to take over.
So the video talked a little bit about raising pigs inside and outside. Can you tell us a little bit of the differences between raising them inside and outside?
Well, sure. Well, the big difference is when it's every once in a while here in Kansas, it gets down below freezing and gets down to 0, and the snow flies. And when those pigs live outside, then they have to fend for themselves. They huddle up in the back of the shed to keep warm. And if you look around in this barn, a few of these pigs are just trying to get to know each other today, but everybody's spread out and everybody's happy because it's a nice and comfortable 80 degrees in here, which is the ideal temperature for these pigs. So we raise pigs inside because we can keep them healthy and we can make their environment very comfortable.
Can you tell us what a typical day is like on your farm? What kinds of chores do you have to do?
Well, we have to feed these pigs every day. Actually, we keep feeding in front of them. This is kind of like being at a hotel with all your friends. We have these nice drinking fountains here, so they have all the water they want to drink all day long. And over here's the feeder, and this is where they get their food. And we actually keep these full. So this is like being an all-you-can-eat buffet all day long. So these pigs can eat whenever they want. I have somebody, either myself or somebody that works here at our farm, comes to our barn, comes in our barns at least twice a day. So every day we check the pigs, feed, water. If we have any sick pigs, we take care of those. We also have farms where we have the mama sows, and at those farms we have pigs born every day. We also, and then we have barns full of mamas that are getting ready to have their litters of pigs. So other things that go on, we have pigs. They don't need to do but eat, sleep, and take things up for fun, kind of like a group of ornery kids. And so I have maintenance people that go around and fix up our pig barns. I also have 3 people that make feed and deliver feed in our trucks to these farms. So there's always something going on. This morning we even hauled out a semi-load of market pigs that were headed to the packing plant in St. Joseph, where they were making their quest to bacon and ham.
So you were talking about feed. Now, do all of the pigs eat the same thing? And how do you know what to feed them?
Well, we have about, no, not every pig eats the same thing. We have 16 different diets that are formulated by a nutritionist at Kansas State University who figures out exactly what the pigs need at each point in time in their growth. So when they finish up their first diet, then the feed mill brings another diet, and that's what they eat. So we match the pig's nutritional needs with their time of development per recommendations from their own dietitian from Kansas State University. Still got you?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we have some questions that came in from classrooms ahead of time. How old are pigs when they have babies?
How old are pigs when they have babies? Well, they are about a sow or a gilt has their first litter at about 1 year of age.
And how many piglets do they normally have?
They have, our average litter size is 14 piglets. So they range anywhere from having 9 to as many as 22 piglets. So if you're the mama, that's a lot of little rugrats.
And what types of things do you need to do with the piglets when they're born?
Well, first thing is we drop off. Job is to we call it day one, or we call it day one care. And in day one care, these primarily ladies, they're grabbing the pigs, drying them off, making sure they nurse their mother in the first couple hours they're alive to get colostrum. And colostrum is milk that has a lot of nutrients in it that helps the pig develop early on. We call it sizing up the litters. But if we have a sow that only has like 9 pigs, but she has 14 teats, we'll find 5 pigs from like a big litter, so that every pig gets a chance to get what they need to eat. So that's the things that go on in the first day.
And so what do you do if a pig gets sick?
Well, under the direction of our veterinarian, we treat them. We treat them just like we do our children. If they're sick, we get them the necessary medicine, and we do that all right here on the farm under the direction of our veterinarian.
Okay. And we have a question from Miss Gaffney's class. Do you give your pigs hormones to make them grow faster?
Absolutely not. That is actually illegal. So no hormones used in pork production. What makes the pigs grow fast? Giving them what keeps the question is what makes the pigs grow fast? What makes the pigs grow fast is feeding them the correct diet, keeping them healthy, which is why we house them in barns, and taking good care of them, keeping them comfortable, giving them what they need. Happy pigs grow fast.
Okay, now we can kind of see a close-up of the floor a little bit. Can you talk about the purpose of the slatted floors?
You want that one? What goes in must come out. So the pigs go to the bathroom and it falls through the floor into the pit. In pig farming, we're kind of the original recyclers. So we collect the manure from the pits underneath our barns, pipe them out to our lagoons, and then pump them out on our fields for fertilizer. And then we harvest that grain. We put them on the cornfield, we harvest the corn, and that's how we feed the pigs. So we catch the manure under the little slots in the floor so the manure can fall through. Then we pipe it out to our lagoons, pump it out in our field for nutrients, and it creates fertilizer for our crops.
What is your favorite part of raising pigs?
Well, I really like to load market hogs. Because that's the rewarding part to me, because that means we've done everything right to get those pigs to market.
And can you remind us how old the pigs they are when they leave the farm?
Sure. A pig is about 6 to 6.5 months old when they go to market. Christy's going to share her favorite part of pig farming.
Well, my favorite part of pig farming is getting to drive the ham tram, because that's always fun when we're driving through the little town and you have people right behind you in their car wondering why you have a bus full of piggies on there. But then the other thing I really love is I enjoy learning how to cook new recipes using pork. And the one thing I do not enjoy is the amount of laundry that I have when you are married to a hog farmer. So.
And what types of pigs do you have?
I'll let Michael do that one.
Well, they're mostly white ones. These are crossbreds. Their mamas are land cross large, and their daddies are red and they're Duroc. We use the landrace and the large white because they're good mamas, and we use the Duroc because they produce very high quality lean meat that people like to eat.
Okay. I think we will start going around to each classroom now and allow them to ask a couple questions. Let's start with Mrs. Small's class. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask Michael and Christy?
The question is, are pigs clean animals?
Did you hear that, Michael?
Yeah, pigs are very clean animals. I'll tell you something interesting about pigs is pigs like to have a clean place to eat and sleep. So what you'll find when they get older is they'll go to the bathroom in one corner of the pen and keep the rest of the pen clean so that they have a nice place to lay and eat.
I also noticed that a lot of them are kind of grouped together. Is that typical of pigs?
Oh yeah. Actually, point over in this pin here, Jody. Those pigs over here, they're very social animals, and they like to lay tied up against each other. If you see them stacking up one on top of another, that's because they're cold. But these pigs are really comfortable in here, and this is how they like to lay. So yeah, they don't respect each other's personal space very much. So but they really like to be close knit.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Southwest Elementary.
How many total pigs do you have?
One more time.
How many total pigs do you have?
How many total pigs do you have?
45,000.
We have 45,000 pigs between all 10 farms that we hold.
That's a lot of bacon.
Right now, in this building, the nursery building that we're in right now, there's 300 piglets in here.
Sunflower Elementary.
Is farm life hard?
Michael, the question was, is farm life hard?
Two things. Somebody has to take care of our animals 7 days a week, just like you guys want to eat 3 times a day. These pigs have to be taken care of also. They have to eat. So what we do is we have 32 full-time employees, and we all rotate weekends so that everybody can have time off and still get the pigs taken care of. Farm life isn't always easy, but farm life is very rewarding because we take a lot of pride here at our farm in the fact that we raise ham, bacon, and pork chops to go on our family's table and on your family's table also. So it's not always easy, but it's well worth it.
Madison High School.
We're not able to hear you guys. You might need to unmute your microphone.
Farrowing crate work?
There you go. Ask one more time, please.
How does the farrowing crate work?
Did you catch that, Dan? I was having a hard time hearing.
They asked, how does a farrowing crate work?
How does a farrowing crate work? The purpose of a farrowing crate is that's in the farrowing house, which is the maternity building at the pig farm. And what a farrowing crate does is it gives mom down from being have a space where they live, and that's how we protect the piglets from their moms setting on them. So,
hey, Michael, could you explain that again? You were cutting out, and we had a hard time hearing you. Please.
Okay. The farrowing house is the maternity building at the pig farm. So the mama sows are in the farrowing house for just a little bit over 3 weeks. And the design of the farrowing crate gives mom space to move around, but it also protects the piglets from mom. So the piglets can go off to the side of the crate while mom stays in the middle. And it's all about giving the piglets access to their mom for their milk, and it's also about protecting the piglets from being set on or hurt by their mother. And that's the only time in the pig cycle that the sow is housed in a farrowing crate. At the other time, they live in pens like the nursery and finishing. In the nursery and finishing, they stay in pens like the one we're in today. Just when we get into our finishing barns, they're much larger pens. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you. Scott City Elementary.
Scott City, you can try talking to us. We unmuted your microphone. Or if that won't work, you can always drop your question into the chat box.
Okay. We can go to Meadowview Elementary. In the meantime, Scott City, if you have a question, like Dan said, you can type it in the box for us, but we'll flip over to Meadowview Elementary.
How many little pigs are in the barn?
Did you catch that, Michael?
Yeah, in the nursery building in the barn that we are in today, this one holds 300 piglets.
Okay. Scott City Elementary wants to know, what types of meat do you get from pigs?
Oh, good question. So, some of the pork products that you get. Oh, somebody's talking to us down there. So some of the things you can get is bacon, pork chops, ham, pork roast, ribs. Let's see, pork steak, sausage, of course, pepperoni. Goodness.
What's your favorite type to cook with, Christy?
Oh, well, my favorite is the pork loin, because if you cook it just right, it'll cut like butter. So you want to cook pork to like pork loin and to 145 degrees. But your sausage you want to cook like just like you cook hamburger. Or ground pork, you want to make sure you cook that up to 165 degrees. But you can substitute ground pork for anything that you put your hamburger in. Makes it quite yummy.
Okay.
But bacon is probably the biggest thing that is out of our freezer the fastest.
Okay. Let's go to Pine Grove, Pennsylvania.
How do you breed the female pigs?
Can you repeat that, please? You cut out.
How do you breed the female pigs?
Well, we do it. We do it all by a process called artificial insemination, and because one of the things that we do to keep our pigs healthy is we don't bring any live animals into our farm because we don't want to take the chance of bringing in a sickness from another pig farm. Because keeping pigs healthy is the number one thing we can do to help to keep the pigs growing. So that's how we do it. And it also gives the ability to select the best sires in the industry to help our pigs do the best.
Okay. Another
Sires
question.
are the daddy pigs.
Another question from Scott City Elementary. Do you get to play with the pigs?
Well, today they're not real playful. They're kind of messing with each other around us, but these guys in the pen we're in, they just went to sleep. But that's funny. Some of my best employees, I just went to load some hogs this morning, and one of the guys walked in and grabbed the first nose that he could get his hands on. So I find that my people they get kind of I wouldn't say they get attached to them, but they they'll always be they're very social, and they're very they're very once they get used to you, they're very interested in what you're doing. Kind of mess with you when you're trying to work on a feeder, pull on your pant legs, chew on your boots. When they get big, they try to butt you around, and but yeah, so that'd be the playing with the pigs that we do here at the farm.
Let's see if Mrs. Small's class has any more questions.
How do mama pigs give birth?
How do you what? Give birth.
I heard, how do mama pigs?
Say it
How
again.
do mama pigs give birth?
There you go.
How do they give birth? Well, just like people do. And she lays down, and the pigs work their way out. They actually are they come out in a sac that's called the placenta, and that's how. And when the pig comes out, they come out of that sac. And I actually have people that are watching for those, and that's why we clean that right off of the pigs so they can get a good breath of fresh air right out to the head to get some milk from the udder.
How often do you have to check the mamas when they're ready to give birth?
Every 30 minutes is our routine, actually.
Okay. Meadowview Elementary, do you have any more questions?
Sure. I forgot my question. Just asked how big they were.
How big do they have to be to go get eaten?
Okay. To go to market, our pigs are between 280 and 300 pounds, and it takes them about 6 months. They're about 6 months of age when they get there.
Okay.
And I'll give you another fun fact. A 300-pound market pig will create you about 220 pounds of meat.
That's a lot of pork.
Yep. But it's not all bacon.
Okay. Southwest Elementary, do you have any additional questions?
Are pigs different colors?
Are pigs different colors?
Yes.
Yes, and it has a lot to do with what color their parents are. But just because you have a white mama and a red daddy doesn't mean that you'll always get a red pig or a white pig. If you look around, and a lot of them have a little bit of red splotches on them. So every once in a while we get a black spotted pig, but not very often at our farm.
Do you know how many different breeds of pigs there are?
I don't a bunch. I can't answer that question. Now
Okay.
I'll tell you that the white females, the landrace and the Yorkshire crosses, or those are the landrace and the Yorkshire crosses. Those are the most common in the pig industry. 90 to 95% of the mama sows in the U.S. are white, just like ours.
Okay. Sunflower Elementary, do you have any more questions?
Do pigs fight?
Do pigs fight?
Oh, pigs aren't mean. They like to mess with you, though. So see these rubber boots? The favorite thing a pig likes to do is come up and grab hold of that boot with their mouth. You know, they don't have hands, so they can't grab you, so they try to grab you with their mouth. They're not mean animals, though. They're very friendly.
Let's see, Mrs. Helms' class. Madison.
How many pounds of feed do you go through a day?
The question was, how many pounds of feed do you go through a day?
Well, a lot. I'll let you guys do the math, but last week my feed mills made 1.4 million pounds of feed.
Wow.
It takes about 700. It takes about 800 pounds of feed to get a pig from birth to market.
And can you talk a little bit more before we go about the feed and what's beneficial about the corn and the soybeans and the different things that you feed them?
Sure. So combination corn, soybean meal, and vitamins and minerals. So the corn is the primary ingredient, and then the soybean meal. A pig can't actually digest the soybeans, so we have to use a meal product that has to get the protein, and then we use the necessary vitamin minerals to meet the pig's needs at whatever point in life they are.
Well, Michael and Christy, we're about out of time, so we want to thank you very much for showing us around your farm today. We'd like to thank all of the classrooms who joined us, and we would also like to thank our sponsors for this program, and they include the Kansas Corn Commission, the Kansas Soybean Commission, Kansas Foundation for Ag in the Classroom, and the Pork Checkoff. All of those organizations helped make this possible for you guys today, so we want to thank them. And we want to thank Michael and Christy again for their time. And if all of the classrooms could wave bye to Michael and Christy as a show of appreciation.
Keep waving. Over here, Stephen. Oh, back away. We're going to back away.